I jest, of course. I think the most annoying quality in a person is when they say reflexively no to things. Drives me up the fucking wall. Like, oh no, I don't think we can do that. I'm sorry, yeah, that's gonna be, like it's just, you know, the people, the naysayers, the people who say, especially when they work in customer service. You know, when you're on the phone with someone and they're like, yeah, I don't think we can help you with that. And I'm the kind of person that's always trying to find a solution, always trying to find a way to get to, like, figure out how to make something happen. And it kind of drives me up the wall when people reflexively say no, or that can't be done, or that's too much of a hassle, or whatever. Because it's like, what are you here to do, if not to serve me? Am I ever, you know what I mean?
Thank you.
Hi.
My name is Kristen.
Hi, Kristen.
My question to you is, what toy or pet did you have or desperately want as a child but didn't get? And now as an adult, have you satisfied your inner child's desire?
I mean, the toys that we had when I was a child are now largely obsolete. You know, I really wanted a Cabbage Patch. But we were too poor to get a Cabbage Patch. Speaking of sob stories, again, yeah, I don't know, and as far as pets were concerned, like, we had a lot of pets. And so as an adult, I was like, oh, I can't wait to not have pets. So now my kids are really, like, really gung-ho. They want animals. And they're not like, oh, you know, Dad, I really want I would love to get a gecko or something like that. They're like, my daughter is completely fixated. She wants a Highland cow. And if I don't get a Highland cow, I'll ruin her childhood, and she'll just be like overwhelmed with disappointment every time she sees me. What's that? Give it to Mason. Well, okay, where do you propose I put the Highland cow? I'll be like, Mason, you know what, I have been saying no, but there was a woman in the audience who really persuaded me. She just said to give it to you, and if it dies, it's on you. I have noticed, like, we've had animals come through the house for little stretches, and it's like every time it's been like, I promise I am going to take care of the animal. I will do everything. And then it's like day 2, and hey, before bed, will you take the dog outside so it doesn't pee in the house? No, I'm too tired. Fuck you. I'm sorry, you asked me about my childhood and I just started swearing at my own children. We're really off the rails there.
I personally wanted rabbits when I was little, and now as an adult, I have 2 pet rabbits.
And I think rabbits are delicious, so. we had rabbits. I got rabbits when I was, okay, she's leaving now. I got rabbits when I was like 7 for Christmas, and they very quickly got quite large, and then my dog ate them. That's cool. Same thing happened, we have chickens, and the same thing happened with dog. Very sweet dog, but he didn't want to share, so we took out all the other animals. Hi, Sophia.
My question is, when you are getting ready and you really want to get pumped up to, I don't know, do something like a workout or go to a protest, what's the top song on the playlist?
A workout or a protest? Yeah. You know, I actually go through like weird cycles with the things that I listen to. Sometimes I'll go, you know, like I'll go for a run and I'll listen to like hard techno or something that's like just got like really driving beat, no lyrics. And sometimes I'll listen to Ezra Klein's podcast. So it's nobody knows what I'm talking about here, but like really boring like NPR political walks, and I'm learning. I vacillate wildly there. What about you?
Way to get to the machine, probably.
Oh, good choice. I find that whatever they're playing in the gym is usually not what I want to listen to. Although it also seems like it's not at all uncommon for me to be in the gym and to see Supernatural on the screen. And I don't know if they like do it because I'm coming in, like as a reminder, like you better work out because look what you look like. It's to motivate myself. Look, it's like holding up a mirror. Like, come on, man, you've got to do better than this. Yeah. Well, thanks for the question. Yeah. Hi.
My name is Sasha.
Hi, Sasha.
We're here. I'm in high school. My question is basically.
Oh my God. That makes me feel so old.
My question is basically how much Massachusetts personality do you have left? Like, have you been to Duncan in the last 6 months?
I have not been to Duncan in the last 6 months. I actually, yesterday I was like, looking at the map, I was running late between things, and I was trying to figure out, like, there's a Duncan, it's gonna take me 20 minutes out of the way, should I do it? And I didn't end up going, but I have a soft spot for the Dunkin' Donuts. I love I love Dunkin' Donuts in the winter time. There's like there's slush all the way up to the counter. They're pouring like a half gallon of half and half into everybody's large coffees. What was your question?
How much of like your Massachusetts personality do you think you have left?
You know, I think it shapes you being here, from here. You know, you go out in the world, there's a lot of things about Massachusetts that you don't realize are Massachusetts traits until you leave, like go to the West Coast, you know, it's like, oh, people don't really know their neighbors or pay attention to their neighbors nearly as much as they do here. People don't swear as often elsewhere. You know? And when I was born, I'm 50. And your gasps in the audience. You look so much older. So often I'll be. Today someone came up to me in a photo ops and said that they were 50 and they looked young, and I was like, oh my God, that's so awesome. That's never what happens. Usually people come up to me, they'll be like an old woman, clearly on her last legs. She'll say. She looks like she's had a hard life, got ready to go. And she'll say, you and I, we have the same birthday, exact same birthday. I grew up I was born in Somerville. Brigham and Women's in Boston, but we lived in Somerville. And Somerville was like a war zone at that point. My parents, so we lived there until I was 2, and my parents moved because somebody had doused their van in gasoline and lit it on fire. And I was like, no, I feel like this is a sign that maybe we should go somewhere else. So we moved to this really posh community called Billerica. And the neighbors there, they were fun, and they liked to engage in like fun neighborhood activities. Like they would get M80s and then put dog shit on top of them and light them in front of our front door, so the front of the house was splattered in dog shit. And other horrible things. They were fishing in the Merrimack River, and they like pull the fish out, and then one would have a baseball bat. Wax a fish off the line, and it was like there was like a grip. There was a real like hard edge grit growing up in the greater Boston area back in the 1970s. And I think that, you know, translates into, like, I carry that forward into the rest of my life. Like, I'm pretty into it. Thank you. Hi.
Hi, my name is.
Wait, hold on, there's a follow-up.
Oh, sorry. Thank you for answering my question. The only thing I was going to say is the swearing is definitely in Massachusetts. They'll talk and they're like, why are you dropping so many F-bombs? Like,
Please don't swear in here, there are children. It's just a little fucking inappropriate.
Hi, my name is Robin.
Hi, Robin.
Hi, I didn't think I'd get picked, so I'm a little nervous. I'm a teacher, and I just wondered what advice you would tell me to give my eighth graders.
Well, drop out of school. I said that, and I meant it as a joke. Although, what a weird time that we're living in. I recently was talking to a dear friend's niece who was just graduating from college, and she got a degree in nonprofit grant writing. And I was like, oh, that's too bad. Because like, that's not going to be a job in 3 years. AI is going to do all of that. AI is going to do so many things. Like I've gone through stages with my kids of like thinking like, oh, you know, just follow your bliss and study whatever. And now I'm like, kids, you're going to be obsolete soon. So you know, there are so few things. I mean, it's really an interesting moment, and I actually wonder about the future and fate of education and what is going to happen to kids. I'm not a doomsdayer, but it does seem like the apocalypse is coming. So anyway, glad I get to see you.
And yeah, I'm kind of glad I'm not just starting.
Yeah.
It's still, I love them, but yeah, the kids always keep me going.
Well, thank you for your service. Thank you. Hi there.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm very well.
Good. I was wondering because Castiel, his strength is in his compassion. Do you lead your, I guess, choices through your heart or through logic and reason?
Wow, what a deep question. I think most of my decisions ultimately, like if I really parse it out, are based on what my penis wants. I think I use logic and reason a lot more than I wish I did. I think I wish, I think I try to live a more intuitive and like following my intuition and my heart life, but I end up being a little bit more like deliberate and calculating, and I think that's probably just because like, I don't know, I spent a lot of time, you know, I went to challenging college and I was sort of trained in that kind of thinking. I went to this school, University of Chicago, which was like, basically they had no arts, and it was very kind of like, you know, we took courses like logic and you know, calculus and kind of framing the world in that way, and I think that was a big part of like, my development. So I tend to think a lot like that, and I tend to actually have a better experience of life when I do less. There's an honest answer. And also the first answer was also true. Thank you. Hi.
My name is Andrea.
Hi, Andrea.
So I have kind of a generic question, but I want to know the answer.
Okay.
What
Well,
was your favorite episode on the show, Supernatural?
my favorite episode was the French mistake. in the show that you know what the French mistake is? I'm the kind of person that will watch a show and love it, but then be like, I don't even remember the main character's name, let alone ever remember the name of an episode of the show. When you asked the question and I responded with the French mistake, I silently in my head pumped my fist. And I was like, I can't believe I remember the name of an episode. But for those of you who don't remember or who have never seen the show, the French mistake is the episode where Sam and Dean are thrown into a parallel universe where they meet the actors Jared and Jensen who are playing Sam and Dean on the TV show Supernatural. And there's a guy named Misha who plays Castiel on Supernatural. And when the script came in, first of all, there was a lot of like clearance with the legal department at Warner Brothers. We all had to sign waivers and like promise that we weren't going to sue for defamation and representation of our actual characters on the show. And each one of us had to sign off on approving like the script and everything because it was crossing the line a little bit. And when I got the script, I was like, I love it. But I'd love to ask, Ben Edlund was the writer of that episode, and I was like, Ben, can you make the Misha character kind of like the quintessential Hollywood douchebag? And then he made like a couple of minor tweaks, but I felt like he didn't like push it far enough. So I added some things, like I didn't like the crew on set would like say my name and I would ignore them. And the hair and makeup people came up to the Misha character and were like doing last looks on me, and I just pushed them out of the way like that. And the episode, it was so much fun. And the great thing about that episode is that you watch it and like if you're a real like follower of the show and even know who Jared Jensen and Misha are a little bit, like there's some inside jokes for you. But for us as cast and crew of the show, it was full of inside jokes that only we would know, like little details about character traits of the crew members who were portrayed in the episode. So it was like Easter eggs within Easter eggs as far as I was concerned. Anyway, we aired the episode, and my manager called and said, Misha, I saw that episode where I saw that episode, the French Mistake episode. It was so great to finally get to see you just playing yourself. Jared, we all played sort of like there were little like germs of truth in all, like the Misha character was like on social media. I don't do that, but the Jared character was like super vain, and he had like alpacas and this giant portrait of himself on the wall of his house in the episode, and I think he has like some rare, weird farm animals now. Like he doesn't even realize that he was actually playing right into the. And when we finished filming that episode, he was like, "Oh my God, that was hilarious! It was so much fun. What are you guys doing with that big portrait?" So he has it now. Hi.
My name is Theo.
Hi, Theo.
I was wondering, since Cass has made a lot of mistakes throughout the show, I was wondering in your opinion, which one was the most fun for you?
Well, yeah, he really didn't he? I think the whole, like, becoming God and unleashing all the Leviathan was pretty bad. Like, that's the kind of thing that really ruins friendships. Do you have anything, another one in mind?
I was just going to say the Leviathan one.
Oh yeah, okay, we're on the same page. I was also pleased with myself for remembering that. Yeah, I think we filmed it like 12 years ago or something. It's been so fucking long. That was season 7. I'm like an encyclopedia. That was season 7. So yeah, that was a long time ago. That was whatever number of years ago. 13 years ago. Wow. How many of you watched Supernatural when it was like from the beginning, when it was airing on TV? I'm so sorry. Thank you for asking. Hi.
My name is Oliver.
Hi, of course.
I was wondering if there was anything that the writers or directors had cast do that you thought you just wouldn't do, but you had to portray it anyway.
It was the very beginning of season 5, I believe. Yeah, season 5. And there was a scene where we're in one of those motel rooms, and Castiel sits on a whoopee cushion. And I just thought it was like, I thought it was so dumb. And I was like, guys, to the director, I was like, guys, we have to do this is just like it's such a dumb gag. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Why are we putting this in here? And then the director was like, well, it's in the script. And I was like, I know, but you know, if someone told you to jump off a cliff, you jump off a cliff. And they said, well, listen, you want to call Eric? And I asked Eric. Eric is down in LA. And I was like, yeah, get Eric on the phone. Eric, like this whoopee cushion thing, it's just dumb. I don't want to do it. Yeah, yeah, I understand. Yeah. So we're doing the whoopee cushion. Eric had this, it was funny because we just filmed on The Boys. It was a reunion of me, Jared, and Jensen all in a few scenes together again. And we're not allowed to say much, but there was like sticky bodily fluids everywhere. And that was just behind the scenes. I'm sorry, by the way, I made that joke earlier today in the like meet and greet, and I just recycled it. I was like, that was funny, I'm going to use it again. Workshopping material. So, but one of the things that I talked to some of the crew about was like this. Eric has this amazing. Well, Eric Kripke is also running The Boys, and he has this quality, which is that he actually has a real clear vision of exactly what he wants. And sometimes it feels like it doesn't make sense, and you're like, wait, what? And then it actually ends up working. And he's proven that enough times to enough people that now when it's like, well, no, Eric says that's what we're doing, that's what we're doing. But I was early on Supernatural, and I was still fighting, I was still resisting it. And I learned the hard way. You do not question the master. Hi.
Hi. I'm Allison.
Hi, Allison.
And following up on the voice question, without revealing anything plot spoilery, what's it like been being back on set with these two people who you have filmed with?
Well, it was with 5 people because Phil Segrisha was he was a producer director on Supernatural, and he's producer director on The Boys, and Eric Kripke was on set. So we had a reunion of the 5 of us. But when we got on set, The Boys is like on a scale that is kind of boggling compared to Supernatural. Supernatural was basically like a student film compared to The Boys. I think the budget is like 5 times as high per episode on The Boys as it was on Supernatural. And the quality is 7 times higher. So what we got on set, and without revealing much, I'll just say that like the set had a staircase, and we were coming down the staircase, and we saw this sea of crew. There's just like so many crew members standing around waiting for me, Jared, and Jensen. And Phil Segrisha is standing at the bottom of the stairs. And as we come down, this is like, for me and Jared, the first time that we're even setting eyes on the crew and vice versa. And he says, everyone quiet on the set. Jared, Jensen, Misha, I want you to apologize to everyone. Everyone, I'm sorry for what you're about to see unfold here. It's totally unprofessional, and I'm aware of that. And that's how we were introduced to the crew. And we did our best to live up to that. Thank you. Hi. By the way, Allison, I'm sorry to cut you off. As a follow-up, we were totally unprofessional on Superman. And I've been on other sets subsequently, and I'm like, oh my God, how were we not canceled in every sense of the word? Phil Segretia directed an episode. It was like that Stepford Wives episode. It was like really me and Jared were very heavy in this episode. And there was this one scene where Jared tackles me to the floor in a diner, and I mean it was Sam tackling Cass, but it was one. We did one long take that was about 20 minutes long, and we were essentially filming gay porn. And the crew was like, tears like streaming down the face, crying with laughter, completely, wildly inappropriate stuff. And Phil was also, he had voluntarily taken on the task of putting together every year the bloopers reel that would go on the DVD as a special feature. And he was like, oh my God, this is gonna be gold for this year. Like, it's gonna be a whole blooper reel, this is wonderful. And then the blooper reel came out and none of that stuff was in it. And I was like, I called Phil, I was like, Phil, what about the stuff from that diner floor sex scene? And he was like, yeah, I watched it, and it was some pretty funny stuff. I erased the drive that was saved on because it would ruin all of our careers. There were many occasions where that sort of thing happened on set. So very unprofessional, and I'm sorry. And eventually something's going to get out, then we'll all be canceled. But we had a good run, and we had a lot of fun while we were at it. Hi there.
I'm Bree. My question is, what musical do you think Castiel would be in and why? Or what character do you think he would be in the musical and why?
Oh my God. I don't know. Do you have a vision for Castiel? Do you have some casting opportunities for him?
I definitely do. I think Castiel would be an amazing Glinda from Wicked.
I wonder if I can pull that off. Like so thoroughly ride the coattails of my former glory that instead of being the actor who's portraying Glinda in Wicked, I bring Castiel into the role as the only recognizable version of myself. That's a very interesting career advice. Thank you for that idea. Yeah. I think Cass really could flourish. His singing isn't great, and I don't know why that is, because he did have a couple of opportunities to sing, and I noticed he wasn't really great at carrying a tune. We had that episode where Castiel was like babysitting, and he ends up singing the theme song to The Greatest American Hero. But it was scripted that he was singing Highway to Hell. And so I learned Highway to Hell, and I was ready to sing Highway to Hell a cappella, and we got to set. And they were like, yeah, Warner Brothers couldn't afford Highway to Hell, but they own the song for the theme song to Greatest American Hero, so you can sing that instead. And I was like, I don't know that song. It's like, all right, and action. Go ahead. It was great. Thanks for bringing up that traumatic memory.
Hi, Misha. I'm Jen.
Jen.
I'm from here as well. My mother actually and my husband actually is from Somerville. So.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So my question is actually about Boston and Massachusetts. So when you bring friends and family here, what is the top 3 places that you bring them have to visit?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I mostly grew up in Western Mass. So. Yes. Smattering of rural applause. I left